Om Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedhase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sithaya Pataye Namaha. Om Sarve Swarupe Sarveshe Sarve Shakti Samanvite Bhayebhyastrahino Devi Durge Devi Namostute. Hari Om. Jai Sri Ram, Jai Mata Di, and welcome to Hinduism in Focus. We are continuing our discourse on the glorious teachings of our Shastras, scriptures, of the greatness of Sanatana Dharma, and to continuously make this genuine effort to promote our grand culture and, of course, finest heritage that we have all inherited from this great civilization of Sanatana Dharma. This week we will be commencing the observance of Vasant-Navaraatri, which is also known as Chaitra-Navaraatri and Rama Navaraatri, and so it will be only fitting for us to speak and discourse on Navaratri and to, as we always do, try to look at the finer things and to do a comprehensive analysis and to discourse on all that which matters and which sometimes appear to be not so important, but in essence very much so important and significant, both in our quest to understand, to appreciate, and to live well in this mundane world, and at the same time to advance the cause of our own spirituality, the cause of our individual spiritual evolution, as it were. And so that we will try to endeavor to do for this week, and of course in the week to follow as well. So a convenient point to begin is perhaps to recognize that this singular Navaratri, which we call first Navaratri, and indeed it is the first Navaratri both in the Hindu context, that is to say in the beginning of the Hindu calendar, and of course in the Western, or what we use, our regular calendar, because it is the first one in the calendar year. And so this Navaratri is known by three names. One, it is called Vasant Navaratri, then it is called Chaitra Navaratri, and Rama Navaratri. It is not in this sequence, but all three names belong to the festival, belongs to the sacred period in which this celebration is observed. And what they mean. In fact, we will see that there is an underlying truth and underlying teaching beneath all three of the names that this Navaratri has. So it is called Vasant. Vasant refers to this period, what is called the spirit of spring, that we had all celebrated in Bhagwa or Holi, and that is still all. It is the Navaratri that happens at the time of spring, or at the ending of spring, or sometimes in midway of spring. It depends how the seasons themselves run, and sometimes how they actually temper off, at certain times, and from winter into spring, and then into summer, and all of these things. So it is the essence, or it is so much celebrated in the season of spring. So Vasant means it is called Vasant Navaratri because it happens in this time of spring. And in Bharat or India, it is actually spring. So it is in that historical idea that the Navaratri has been given the name as Vasant. So it's a Navaratri of the spring. So that is one point I want to establish. Second point is that At the same time, this Navaratri commences the Hindu New Year, and the first month in this new year is called Chaitra. So this Navaratri also got the name Chaitra-Navaratri because it is observed, in fact it begins the month of Chaitra. So Chaitra starts on the first day of Navaratri. So because of when it falls, in which month it falls, it has also been given the name based on the month of its observance, or we can say Navaratri commences the month, or the month commences with this Navaratri. So that is how it is called Chaitra Navaratri. And then it is also, thirdly, it is called Rama Navaratri. Why it is called Rama Navaratri? Because this Navaratri, which takes place in spring, which commences Chaitra, this Hindu month, this Navaratri concludes in the appearance, the birth, or the incarnation of Bhagwan Sri Ramachandra, the great avatar, which we call the seventh avatar of Mahavishnu, the Lord who has transcended his formless, absolute, nameless, attributeless state into a body like you and I in the holy city of Ayodhya, in the kingdom of Raja Dasarat, and who came and performed myriads of deeds and miracles and walked amongst humankind. It is his birth that this Navaratri culminates in. So it is in that context that the Navaratri is now also referred to as Rama Navaratri. And since it is referred to as Rama Navaratri, the story of Bhagwan Sri Rama, the glories of Bhagwan Sri Rama, the birth of Bhagwan Sri Rama, the Leela of Bhagwan Sri Rama, they all get intertwined, they all have added to the grand definition, the grand festivity, and the grand spirit of this celebration that we now come to embrace as this Ram Navaratri, Vasant or Chaitra Navaratri. And so even the Ramayana is designed in such a way, it is set up in such a way that allows a certain type of reading, a certain type of recitation and discourse on the story that leads up to the appearance or the birth of Prabhu Sri Ramachandra. This is the idea. So, in such a way, this Navaratri really and truly celebrates the coming of Lord Sri Rama. So these are the three names, primary names of the Navaratri, and they're, in a very brief way, their meaning as they were. And so, what is underlying all three of these, which is now becoming, or which is and which should be the defining significance for us as you and I, bhaktas, practitioners of the grand tradition, and of course sadhaka seekers, is the fact that beneath the idea of Vasant, spring, the idea of the beginning of the year, Chaitra, the month of Chaitra, and the idea of Ramachandra's birth celebration, there is one thing that is common in all three, that is directly applicable to you and I, that is directly connected to the spiritual growth, upliftment, and evolution of you and I. And what is that thing? Is that in all three contexts, there is what is called spiritual rejuvenation, spiritual advancement. That is what all three of them bring to us. So what it brings, the fruit, to us today is the same under each one of the names that the Navaratri has come to be identified as. So spring brings life to nature. It reinvigorates the activities of nature. It brings everything back to their supreme or to their known glory, manifestation of their inherent beauty. Life itself returns to nature with the commencement of Vasant or spring. So that is a rejuvenation of the Prakriti, a rejuvenation of life itself in nature. Then Chaitra, at the beginning of the month, in the new year, also returns to everyone the idea of renewal, the idea of rekindling what is good, what is uplifting, both materially and spiritually. Because at the beginning, for example, at spring, in the beginning, farmers go back to the land. Nature itself blossoms. Flora, fauna, every creature, every element of the nature becomes happy. They welcome, they embrace the return of spring. It's a return of life, the essence of survival and of living, as it were. The Chaitra brings that same idea, the spirit of renewal. So everybody has resolutions, everybody has desires that they want to achieve various things materially at this time. In the farmers look forward for the spring. They want to achieve. In the same way, in the spiritual side too, the return of the spring, the return of Chaitra, the beginning, is also a moment where everybody should also refresh, rejuvenate, reinvigorate themselves spiritually. Take a dip in the spiritual ecstasy of Bhagavan. Take a dip of our minds, of our intellect, and our whole vision of life into the unlimited glory and power of Bhagavan through sadhana. Sadhana means spiritual practice, which comes in numerous forms. So it comes to that. So the idea of Navaraatri is Navaraatri celebrated a spirit of renewal spiritually as well as materially. And that spirit of renewal captured in Vasant, the spring, captured in Chaitra, the beginning, and now it's called Rama Navaraatri because the renewal comes with a manifestation of the Supreme Self in all its glory and power into the hearts of the human being. And it is that manifestation that is observed as Ram Navami, the birth of Lord Rama. Look, Lord Rama came millennia ago, ages ago, and we are celebrating him. A whole Navaratri is for him. We are living a moment he has become Bala Ramachandra, the baby Rama. Why? Because it's an effort of the human to seek spiritual rejuvenation, to bring Rama in our hearts, to renew our spirit of worship, our spirit of devotion, our spirit of karma, doing good works, Shubha karma, our spirit of the pursuit of jnana, knowledge, all that which rejuvenates, which refreshes, which reinvigorates, which brings new life, which brings a spirit back into us to blossom into our full glory. It is captured in the appearance, the manifestation of Lord Ramachandra. So it is in this context Navaratri has these three names. Tomorrow when we meet, we will begin to delineate, to examine, and to discourse further on the same subject. Until then, may grace of Prabhu Sri Ramachandra and Divine Mother be with all of us. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Mata Di.